And our shout out tonight is for a brave journalist trying to cover the news and hold officials accountable in a very difficult place to do that, Ukraine. The country is very much in the news with the revelations about President Trump asking for a favor from the Ukrainian president. But long before the world's media began to focus on the country and its corruption, a small group of journalists in Kiev had dedicated themselves to bringing the truth to Ukrainians, including one young woman who has put herself very much on the front lines. Nastya Stanko's career in journalism has already seen her called a hero, a traitor, and a liar. She's been on the front lines of war, been threatened with death, been held hostage, confronted both Moscow and her own government in Kiev. All of that at the age of 33. Given all the pressure and given the threats and the danger, you still want to be a journalist, given everything.
Of course, because, when you live in such country as Ukraine, it's always, you always, have this feeling that it's not boring. It can't be boring.
Now the deputy editor-in-chief of the Ukraine television station she helped to found, Stanko says she chose journalism as a teenager after seeing reports of a television cameraman for Reuters killed in Iraq by U.S. forces, which claimed his camera looked like a weapon.
It was 2003, as I remember. And I thought that it's very important to be such dangerous places and say the people truth from such dangerous places, and I thought, I want to be journalist.
And she did not have to travel far to find a war to cover. It came to her when Russian-backed forces turned parts of Ukraine into a war zone hotspot 5 years ago. And then she was taken hostage by the Russian-backed forces.
They took me to this basement with something in my head. I mean, it was like some code because that I shouldn't see nothing where we are going. And of course, they said that maybe they will cut my head or something like this.
When Nastya was released after a few days, she was hailed as a hero for her courage under such trying circumstances. But then a few years later, when she produced this report documenting how Ukraine's own security services had their own secret prisons, the same people who had called her a hero now said she was a traitor, giving the Russians ammunition to criticize the Ukrainian government.
The people of Ukraine should know that it's happened in Ukraine, and maybe it's not okay because it's illegal, And I never thought that, for example, when we say this true, for example, this true can help our enemy. I think it's just ridiculous.
Stanko and her reporting team tracked down people who had been held in the secret compounds, who identified key details of the cells where they were held, and some of the people who served as their guards. And then Stanko confronted the top officials who had earlier denied the existence of any such secret prisons.
You see this as 10 people telling outright lies to the international organization because they were recruited by, for example, the Russian Federation.
Now with Ukraine at the center of attempts in the U.S. Congress to impeach President Donald Trump, Stanko has another big story on her hands.
We understand, and people of Ukraine understand that this is not about reform, And it's very scary for us, of course.
But Stanko says it's no time to ease up, even as she faces new criticism that her reporting will only weaken the Ukrainian president and help the Russians. This is how Stanko put it when she was honored by the Committee to Protect Journalists with their International Press Freedom Award.
It's difficult to work when you are expected to choose between patriotism and professional journalism. Standing here in front of my colleagues from all around the world, I know this pressure is not something only we, Ukrainians, feel. It's pressure experienced by anyone who chooses journalism as their profession. But I also know that there is no need to choose. Honest journalism is the best form of patriotism.
So our shout out tonight for Nastya Stanko and her colleagues in Ukraine for showing all of us what good journalism is all about, something that's needed ever more in both Kiev, Washington, and around the world. That's our program for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here on the Law and Crime Network next week.